very much. Good morning. Well, it could be a different time zone. It could be afternoon. It could be, I don't know. I don't want to assume. Oh, Monk is getting old, man. My knees. Coffee. Man. Good morning. 100 XP for joining the stream. Drop a like if you know what I mean. Hope you're doing all right. But if you're not, then that's all right. We are live this morning. Well, it's morning for me. Could be a different time zone for you. I don't know. But regardless of what time zone you're in, I hope you're having a good day. It is the beginning of the week, which means we don't know how it's going to go yet. But I can tell you one thing. There is a way in which we can exist where we don't have to wait for the week or the day to figure out if it's going to be good or not. Let me explain what I mean by that, kids. Good morning, if you're just joining now. We live. Unc got his glasses on. I got a new thingy. My old one was getting dusty. Actually, I gotta show you guys these. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Nope. Never mind. I'm sorry. I forgot that I left them in my car. That's my bad. But I bought these like new Richard Lewis glasses. Well, the wifey bought them for me. Shouts out the wifey. And they're really cool. They're really, really cool. So I'm very, very excited about that. If you look at yesterday's live morning stream, I wore them in that. So that's the closest you'll get to seeing those. But 100 XP for joining the stream. Drop a like if you know what I mean. Kieran Bolton, executive producer. Good morning, my friend. Good to see you, man. Hope you're having a good morning already. And just be ready, Kieran. Just be ready. You know how these go. Just be ready. That's all I'm saying. But earlier we were talking. Well, earlier I said it's been 4 minutes, but no, it's early in the week, right? And a lot of times, thank you, I appreciate that. A lot of times we wait, people will be like, how's your week going? How's your day going? And it seems that oftentimes, at least as I find, at least this has been my experience. So if this hasn't been your experience, feel free to tune out or whatever. But it seems that oftentimes we allow the happenings of the day to determine how the day actually is going. Or we allow the happenings of life to determine kind of outlook, so to speak, you know. And I think it is morning. I got my coffee. I got my lo-fi. I feel like lo-fi is very good for the morning. It's good to start up, you know. It's a nice way to begin the day, so to speak, you know. I used to back in the day really like a lot of like how would you say the rock music, the hard metal and screamo stuff when I was young. But now I like very calm stuff. I mean, it depends on the day. It depends on the day. Cause there's some days where you do kind of just want to be thugged out, going to the grocery store. You know, you put on that extra hard rap album or whatever it is. Delu, 100 XP for joining the stream. Drop a like if you know what I mean. Hope you're doing all right. But if you're not, that is all right. Always good to see you, Delu. Good to see you back in the live streams once again. Hope you're doing well, my German friend. I feel like my outfit is very German today. Would you agree, Delu? Hold on. I feel like my outfit is very German right now. I need Delu to tell me all black with the. Because most people don't know, like the Germans really got you know, besides the other things that they did in World War I and II, they really like jump started a lot of goth and punk culture, you know. You know what I'm saying? You know, just a little. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit of. Bro said that's very 1940. No, not the vibe. No. Good morning. 100 XP for joining the stream. Drop a like if you know what I mean. Hope you're doing all right, but if you're not, that's all right. It's so cool to me that we got people from. Yes, right? See, you get it. I get it. No, it's actually, I was talking to my buddy the other day. We were in the car, and you know, I've been doing kind of music and art for over a decade at this point. You know, just in terms of like music, like the YouTube thing is the most recent, but for some reason, it's so weird. For my whole career of creating, whether it's music or YouTube, whatever it is, there's always and I'm not even kidding, I've studied this analytically. 30% of my fans from music and like everything are from Germany. Are Germans from Germany. Not just like Germans like that are just like, you know, I didn't mean to make that. Not just Germans that are like German heritage, like the actual statistics of the analytics that show where like the listeners come from, watchers show people that are there, and for some, I don't know why. Maybe I just, you know, which is kind of ironic because I'm part Jewish. I'm cooked. They got me. No, it's all right. I'm part Jewish. And then they'll be like, nah, but now you responsible for genocide. I can't win. No, but good morning, guys. I hope you guys are having a good day, man. It's I was kind of making a little bit of a point earlier that like sometimes we allow the external factors to determine how we feel about the experience of life. But the reality of life is that a lot of just randomly popped up on your German algorithm loves me. They're like the German algorithm's like, we got to pick up a couple of them, you know, since, you know, they're like, we got to help him out somehow, you know. We did a lot of probably could like 100, you know, 1,000 of his. I'm sorry, Delu. You know I love you. I love all my German people. And all my international fans too. Like we got Brazil up in here, we got UK up in here. I'm pretty sure we have someone from Australia as well now. Yes, it is. It's it's the Jewish reparations. The black half of me's still waiting for those, so I got the Jewish ones first. Oh, sorry. Oh god, this is such a nightclub already. We just started, guys. We just started. You know, stop. Who's smoking cigarettes in the back? No, man, you know something. But I'll tell you. Back to my point. We all have ADHD. A lot of times we're letting the external factors determine how. You know. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. We're allowing. I'm sorry. The glare. It's the glare that's getting me in my. I don't like the glare. The glare is upsetting me. Hold on. My OCD is popping out real quick. Hold on. Let me. All right, but yeah. So we allow the external factors to determine a lot of times how we feel about the experience of life, and I think that because of that. We kind of turn into like these automatic people that like don't have a say on our own experience. Like it's sometimes you ever just feel like you're like just watching your life, right? And I think the benefit to who I am is that I've always just been dissatisfied. Like I've always had a healthy dissatisfaction for the way things are. And I think like even earlier on as a kid, I asked myself the question. Like, I remember asking myself this question when I was like 5 years old. I was laying in bed and I'm like looking up at the ceiling and I have this thought and I'm like, why is it that if all of time has existed and all people, all these important people like presidents and you know, like generals, like people who've like fought wars and stuff, you know, Pickle Nick, ladies, settle down. It's not bacon, but it is Pickle Nick. Good to see you, man. Good morning. Hope you, or whatever time zone. I don't even know what time zone you're in, bro. But it doesn't matter. I'm glad to see you, man. But we're talking about, just to kind of reel you in here. I was talking about how a lot of times we let like external factors affect our experience on life. And, you know, for me, I've kind of had a healthy dissatisfaction for life. So I've always questioned things. And at 5 years old, I was laying in my bed. And I remember this distinctly. I remember even the look of the ceiling. I remember looking up at the ceiling. I'm like 5 years old. And I'm like, why is it that out of all time that has existed, I am watching life through my eyes? I remember asking that. Like when I was young, I'm like, why? I'm like, why me? Like, am I significant in some way? But then I started, you know, then I go to sleep and I have dreams, and, you know, the dreams would kind of be a little bit weird and haphazard and, you know, a little bit goofy sometimes, right? But then I started to put it together. I was like, the experience of my dreams is very similar to the experience of my life, where for some reason, I am the observer of this very wacky, sometimes beautiful, sometimes lucid experience. And I think that, oh, thank you, man. Yeah, I think I got something right there. But we are the viewer and the observer of our experience. We are the viewer and observer of what's happening in this dream, right? And because of that, when I was very young, I just decided, well, I kind of want to be able to see through these eyes, in this particular experience, something that doesn't look so bad. For me, you know, I grew up, I love my family. You know, my mother worked very hard to support, you know, my brothers, my sister, and me. But the reality is that I grew up very alone. I grew up very without kind of the tight bond of family around me. And I think that because of that, I had a lot of time and space to think to myself about life and what I thought about it. You know, I'd watch a lot of movies and TV, and I would watch it over and over again. And I would even watch like the commentary. I was like 8 years old watching like the commentary, director's commentary versions of movies that I really liked, because I was so interested in the process of what makes something great. So then, just like the dream thing that I applied to my life, I applied that to my life, where I was like, well, if this is how they make that and I'm able to enjoy that, why don't I just make it? I think one of the first times I tried to create something, I think I was 11 years old. Like actually manifest the creation. I was 8 years old, or not 8 years old. I was 11 years old. No, that's not true. I actually I think I was either 6 or 7 years old, and I started making comic books. But then after that, I was making, I made the first like movie thing I made was with my friend Anvil when I was 11. And I just realized that creating an art was kind of this way by which I could take my experience that I'm having through my eyes in this life and just like force it to be beautiful or force it to be fun. And then I got into video games and I'm like, whoa. And I determined very early on, before I developed faith in God or whatever my perspective is, right? I determined, I was like, I think whoever the higher power is knew that right now is like the dopest time to be alive. So they were like, bam. You know what I mean? Like this is the best time to be alive. We have like, look at, like, I'm talking to some of you and we are thousands of miles away, but we can share interest. We can be like, yo, look at this cool movie or look at this cool comic book, clearly, because I might have a particular interest in one superhero that I'm not certain about. But it's like, I think that oftentimes we're so burdened by like what their perspective on life, like, oh, it's so bad, there's like, the world's getting worse, which it's like, yes, there are bad things, and there are things that happen that everyone has a right to bring attention to and to focus on. But for me, and like how I am, I can't like do the whole political, let's all talk about how we feel about the world. Like, I would rather just be like, hey, let's enjoy what we have with who we have it with while we have it. Because nobody gets off of this ride alive. Nobody, the deal when you are born is that you die. And the reality is that we can't stop that, but we can choose very consciously, moment by moment, to be the person that is worthy of all the blessings that life has, right? Like, you know what I mean by that? Like, you ever hear people talk about yeah, dude, like, I don't even have a favorite, like, I don't even have an obsession with any superhero. Let's be so real. Retro, 100 XP for joining the stream. Drop a like if you know what I mean. Good to see you, man. But we were talking about what's the word? Oh, I lost it. It's when people the impersonation syndrome, or no, imposter syndrome. That is so weird to me. Can I be real with y'all? Like, you know how a lot of people are like, oh, imposter syndrome, I feel like I shouldn't be, in the place that I am. What? Like, isn't that the whole point? Like, didn't you work for that? And I think that speaks to what we were talking about, where there's like an embodiment of who you are that has to happen. Because like, you can say, I want a life where I'm like doing whatever I want, I got my own whatever. But like, if you don't embody the person that like has that and can receive that, you'll receive that and then it'll feel like a curse. Because then once you receive it, you'll be afraid to lose it. And you're not really focused on being the person that's in it. You know what I mean? And I feel as though, I got a little gas. I'm sorry, I'm going to be burping a lot. Excuse me. But it's just the reality that like, there's an embodiment of who you are that has to happen. Because I see interviews of like people that are like very successful or very like front facing in the public, and they're talking about imposter syndrome. I'm like, what in the world? Like, there's like a pandemic of like people who don't have the identity to accept the blessings that are there. Like that's how, like, dude, we have like, and most people are focused rather on like missed opportunity than the consistent opportunity of the present to become who you want to be. Like people would rather sit and be like, oh man, yo, like I could have, because like for me, I spent almost 15 years doing music and like doing what I thought at the time was what I wanted to do. And at the time it was what I wanted to do. But then it wasn't what I wanted to do. So I stopped doing it and now I'm doing something else. And instead of being like, oh, I could have gone on tour with, you know, an artist that is like a childhood favorite of mine and a best friend of another one of an artist that I love. It's like, I would so much rather be exactly where I am right now. I know that I'm in the perfect alignment with creatively what I'm supposed to be doing, because instead of like letting the external or letting the past get to me, I just choose like, hey, what is the thing that my brain and my heart together are telling me we want to do this, or I would like to see this manifest in my life. And I think that a lot of times we short ourselves. Like y'all, if you're in this chat right now and you're one of those people that like you like have a hard time accepting good things, like I'm a judo kick you right now. Like you have to you have to be willing to accept that you are worthy of the blessings that you desire at times. Like, and I'm not talking about blessings like just material. Like you're worthy of the feeling of being blessed. The feeling of being like, hey, you're a good person, take this. Like you're awesome. Or not even you're a good person, just like take this because I love you. You know what I'm saying? It's true, actually. Sherm World, 100 XP for joining the stream. Drop a like if you know what I mean. Hope you're doing all right, but if you're not, that's all right. Wait, so when someone says judo chopped, is that incorrect? Ice Cream, 100 XP for joining the stream. Drop a like if you know what I mean. Dude, for years, I had this one job. Loved my boss, he was super cool, but I was so young. And he was like super into like MMA, like actually like watching it. And I just tried so hard to relate to him, bro. I didn't watch a lick of that, but he would always come into work and be like, yo, you watched the fight last night? I'd be like, yeah, man, yeah. Yeah, it was crazy, bro. He's throwing them punches, bro, and them kicks. It was crazy, bro. Judo chop sounds cooler though. But no, you know what I'm saying though with that, chat? Do you know what I'm saying? Like the reality of becoming who you need to be is more important than getting the thing that you want. Let me say that again, because I know, hold on, I'm gonna grab my pointer. Because I know that when I start spitting, I need to grab my pointer. Here we go. So the reality of who you need to be, pay attention, is more important than the thing that you need to get or the place that you want to go. Because if who you are, pay attention, is not someone that thinks you're worthy of good things, then you will wish yourself out of a bad situation and into a good situation that you won't be able to appreciate because you haven't become the person that thinks you're worthy of that. Pay attention. So, do you see what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? Because, okay, let's say for instance you're working a retail job. Let's get super general. Well, let's get specific general. Let's get generally specific. Pay attention. So, let's say you work a retail job, right? You're working the retail job, you're making like $4 an hour. You hate your life. But you're talented and you're creative. So you tell yourself, man, maybe if I just have like, you know, just this one video go viral and like I get like a bunch of fans, I'll get out of this stupid town and I'll get out of this job, pay attention, and I will be happy. right? And a lot of people think that. I thought that. I worked retail for a decade telling myself that. And the reality is that could happen. As a matter of fact, that happened to me. As a matter of fact, pay attention. If you want advice, you want to listen to the guy who's in the middle of doing what you are wishing to do. Pay attention. I literally was working a job that I hated, went to bed after posting a video from like a week before, and the next day, when I woke up, my light just changed color without me actually touching it. That's really scary. I don't like that. I woke up and the next day, a video went insanely viral. Pay attention. Which caused my channel not only to skyrocket in views, but it monetized me, which gave me what I wanted and was looking for. Right? But then something happened to me. I became inherently insanely depressed. Pay attention. Because I realized something. Views and monetization did nothing for my character. If I was an undisciplined, unsatisfied, creatively ambiguous person, and I get those views, you take that person with the views, that's all you get. You're an undisciplined person with access. It's kind of like when you have rappers that are very successful off of one song, and then what happens? Never hear from them again. Why? Because they're not writing, they're not disciplined in the studio, and they're using all their money and residuals for drugs. Right? So pay attention. And this happens not just with rappers, this happens with most famous people. I'm just using rap as an example because it happens unfortunately more in that genre. Used to happen with rock, but now it's rap. So the reality is, pay attention. Get off your phone. I'm just kidding. You're on your phone. Get on your phone, actually. Pay attention. So the reality is, in order for me to become successful on this channel, what happened was I took a break. I took a break for 4 months, almost 4 months after being monetized. So for the first couple months after being monetized, I went hard, was posting all the time, yada, 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 3 shorts a day, boom, boom, boom. But then it just hit me. Is this gonna be my life? Just posting stuff for views, posting stuff. And I realized I hadn't formed a creative identity for myself. I'd spent all these years doing music, knowing myself as Deja Solo, and you know, that's still very much so a part of me, but as MOONKID, I hadn't really formed my own voice. I got famous for roasting people for who they chose in Marvel Rivals. That's great. I don't even really pay attention to the game enough anymore. Like, people be like, oh, where's part 3? Probably whenever I choose to be interested in that game enough to be able to say something about it. Like, I'm not as locked in with it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Love you, Delu. Thanks for joining today, man. Always good to see you. But the reality is, and do your homework. There will be homework. There will be a test on this tomorrow. The reality is that I didn't find success in this channel until I became the person that gave myself the permission to not only rest from creating, but to trust myself to do something different, to do something that felt more natural to me, to do something that didn't overshadow the freedom of identity and creation, right? And oh, Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul are two of my favorite rap groups. So I grew up listening to both of those. That's crazy. Rest in peace to that dude from De La Soul. But I just want to say, in all seriousness, guys, like, I had to take a step back, ask myself, what do I want from this? What do I want from my life in general? What am I seeking? And it wasn't until I took the step back that I spent all this time with my wifey and my 2 cats, you know, and I just realized these people that I love, as much as I love them with all my heart, are not going to be around forever. I was like, so this whole thing needs to revolve around supporting them, and it needs to revolve around creating a process by which when I create and how I create feeds into how I love myself, feeds into how I treat myself ultimately, disciplines me, and ultimately plant seeds to grow the garden that I'm looking for. Because earlier we were talking about, pay attention. Earlier we were talking about, we allow life to happen to us. But if we kind of take a moment and try to think about our resources, try to think about where do we have the faculty to kind of start changing our habits, changing the way we think, and saying, you know what? I haven't spent as much time painting as I maybe should have. I haven't maybe spent as much time writing as I maybe should have. And maybe and it's not going to change overnight. Nothing changes overnight. And the idea isn't to just change the situation or change your job or have your more money. The idea is to change who you are so that by the time you do get it, even if it does happen overnight, you can be the person that that feels worthy to receive it. Because no, my name for music is Deja Solo, DEJASOLO. It's Spotify, YouTube, everything you can find. I think I have about 80 distributed tracks from the past 10 years of my music, but just about. We were doing a stream the other day where I was playing my music. It was like what was it? It was like 2 hours worth, and still new songs. But music will always be a part of me. Deja Solo will always be a part of me. Not leave alone necessarily, but already alone. It depends on the dialect, but yeah. Leave me alone. No, but in all seriousness, like, just do your best. The more that you look at yourself as someone that is worthy to receive blessings as they come, you won't feel so awkward when they come around. Because, like, this channel is a blessing. Do I feel imposter syndrome? No, not even a little bit. I'm exactly where the fuck I'm supposed to be. Like, if there was any more perfect place to put me, it's here. It's right here. And like, as the following increases, like, I feel the same at 10,000 that I felt at 0. Like, it's because I know that I'm inherently, like, okay, if I was like 18 or like just a young kid and I saw me, I'd be like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. I'd want to hang out with this guy, and I would feel safe with myself. I've done a work to view myself in a way where I love and trust myself enough that I know the kid me would feel safe with me. And that's the kind of person that you want to work on becoming, right? Chat is like, you want to kind of become the person that you don't feel out of place anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta really become the person that, like, okay, we'll take this for instance. Like, a lot of times when I'm on IRLs, you got people in here saying crazy stuff, right? If I was a little bit more sensitive and a little bit less grounded, I could be like, oh, like, I'd be like super offended, right? But like, my ability to not get teetered off from that comes from my roots and who I know I am. Like, if you listen, conviction works like this. If I'm wearing this right now and someone were to come in here and talk about you are not wearing a cardigan, that's the same effect. It's like an external thing can try to like give you evidence of something else. Someone can say something, you're a piece of shit, whatever. But like, if you're grounded in who you are, that will never move you. It will never move you. And that's oh dang, you're actually right though. That's what that's actually mad funny. But in all seriousness, that's a lot. That's how confidence, conviction, and identity work. And identity is so much more important than material. Identity and how you feel about yourself will ultimately determine how you move throughout the world. Like, the best way I can explain it is like this. The person who's confident and the person who's not are spotted before they speak, right? Like, someone who's not confident, it's like they physically embody the psyche of someone who's not confident, and they even and then nah, you good, bro. And they like embody like oh, like hey guys, hey, like they embody that. So like how you think genuinely affects the whole shit. It affects the whole shit. Cause then when somebody's confident and you know they're confident, they know it too. They're like, yo, what's up? Like, what's good? Like, what's going on? That's why people like black people. Cause a lot of black people physically embody confidence, you know? And that's what it is. Like think of any famous black guy, and I can compare to you why they're famous, and it almost every time will have to do with how confident they are. Like, okay, we'll start. Just one. Dave Chappelle. This dude smoked a cigarette in the Mark Twain Center for Comedy. Like, no one else is doing that. Okay, Eddie Murphy. Arguably one of the greatest of all time. Probably one of the most confident people you will ever meet. And not even confidence in the way, like who he actually is. Like if you were to sit down with Eddie Murphy, he's not like, I'm gonna make this waffle. He's not like that. He's like if you were to ask him, be like, Eddie, do you want to go out today and like do something? He'd be like, no, I'm good. I'm all set. I'm just gonna stay home, you know? Because like, knowing who you are and confidence isn't just about external display. Because remember I said, determining the difference between the confident person and not is before they even open their mouth. Sometimes the confident person will never say a word. Sometimes the confident person is in the back of the room like this. And that's why people like this quote unquote, that's why you got so many like whack dudes trying to be nonchalant. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they want to embody really badly that feeling of confidence or the feeling of stillness, you know, and it is a, you know, I don't want to say honorable pursuit because there's a lot of people that overdo that shit, but that's what it is. And it's not just confidence in anything material. Like, it's fine to put on something and be like, I feel nice. That's there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is this. Is that your confidence has to come from a different angle. Like it has to be deep rooted in something that's untouchable. You see what I'm saying? Because if you root your identity in something that is untouchable, then they can't touch you. They can't. How you gonna attack someone where you're not at? Like, you can't. If you don't know where someone is, how you can attack them? You know what I'm saying? I feel like we should do another Deja Solo album, and but we'll do it with the chat. Everybody's gonna choose the beats. You know what though? I do want to start it though. There's this old song I have called Denver, Ohio, and I've low key been wanting to redo it because it's like it's been just over 10 years since I wrote it. And I feel like it'd be perfect because it's about getting older. So it'd be like kind of cool to like sing it again because I'm 10 years older than from when I wrote it and was singing about getting older. But let me hold on. Bro said I hate Ohio. You know what's crazy about Ohio? Is just picture Ohio in your head. That's exactly what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like. However you just pictured Ohio in your head, I promise you, It's exactly what it looks like. Like, oh wow, it's nothing. just a bunch of streets. Everything's flat. Everything's 40 minutes away. I promise you, however you just pictured Ohio is correct. Unc's gotta sit down. I'm getting old, y'all. And let me tell you something. Getting old is a blessing, man. Because like I've always wanted to be this like Obi-Wan Kenobi head ass dude. You know what I'm saying? And I've really started to fall into that. Because there's a grace to getting older. You got to learn how to respect yourself, and you got to learn how to you got to learn how to love yourself, and that's a really hard process. There's really no handbook to it, because loving yourself is different for everybody who attempts it. There's some people who try to love themselves, but unforgiveness gets in the way. You know, that their own unforgiveness of themselves. You know, and just feeling like they don't deserve happiness because of what they've done. And I've definitely fallen into that category. You know, I used to be a very verbally abusive person. You know, I was very hurt by, you know, my past and the traumas that I hadn't really processed, and that made me a really nasty person in my late teens and early 20s, you know. And I don't have any regrets, because I know that a lot of the pain that I caused, the people were graceful enough to be like, hey man, you know, like we gotta go our separate ways type thing. And I learned from that pain, that separation, just knowing that you can't just treat people however you want and expect them to stay. You can't just say whatever you want to people and expect them to maintain camaraderie with you. And, you know, I think in that way, I've learned the path of me learning how to love myself has looked different, because it's gone through a process of almost like a relationship between two people, where it's like they almost got a divorce, you know, because for a long time I was very had those thoughts of offing myself. You know, I've dealt with a lot of those feelings of deep depression, and I know what it's like to really not want to be alive. Like I used to have ideations, man, where I would just have a whole week of just like, I'm staying in bed, I'm not moving. I've been flattened out by depression, and it was rooted in me not wanting to deal with the fact that I was like, damn bro, like you fucked up, like you hurt these people, you know. And like I was saying, it's almost like being in a relationship where it's like we want a divorce, but then they get back together. It's like that's how it was for myself, where it was like for so long I hated who I was. I was like, man, fuck this guy. Like I look in the mirror, I was like, I hate this dude. But then slowly but surely, like forgiving myself, like learning to love little things about myself. And the guy you see today, totally different. Like I love this dude now. Like I'm like I wake up and I'm like, all right, what are we doing today? And then I feel myself being like, man, give me like 10 more minutes. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna let myself sleep. It takes a long time to get to this place. And I still have days where I'm like, you know, I get mad at myself for certain things. But the older you get, being an adult is really less about paying bills and whatever. It's the process of loving yourself, because you got to be with you to the end. That's why I always encourage people, like, stop caring what other people say about you, because 99% of those people will not be there when you're gone, when you're ready to go. Because when you're ready to go, when it's your time to take the next step, I call it graduating. When you pass on, when you graduate from life, you want to make sure that the person that's laying in that bed or laying wherever you are is going with a satisfied mind and saying like, man, we had a good ride, not too bad. That's what you want. That's the result you want. That's true success, is being able to close your eyes at the end of this ride saying, man, that was pretty good, wasn't it? And for me, that's how I'm determined to live. And that's something that I have to do. because you got to keep going. That's why I love the Stan Lee Marvel Excelsior. I think that's actually the New York freight, or what do they call it? What do they call it? The state motto, Excelsior, upward and onward. You know, just like Spider-Man, you get knocked down, keep going. You know, that's why we love superheroes here on this channel. You get knocked down, you keep going. You know, I struggled with mental health for years, but it was characters like Moon Knight that taught me, like, hey, you might be a little crazy, but it's actually kind of cool. It can be kind of dope if you use it right. That's why I surround myself with those images, to remind myself, like, hey, it's an identity thing. It really is. And I encourage anybody in here, if you have an image of someone like a philosophized figure that you feel like represents the nature of you and how you can overcome and your strength, and put that image everywhere in your house. Like, if you're like, damn, you know what, Keanu, I feel like I'm kind of like Keanu Reeves, then you just put a picture of Keanu Reeves in your bathroom mirror, and every day when you look at the mirror, you see yourself and you see Keanu Reeves right there, and then eventually you don't know the difference between you two. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I probably will be. We doing about 2 hours this morning. That's the plan. But yeah, man, like, identity is everything. How you see yourself is everything. How you view yourself is everything, man. Everything. Like, in the way you talk to yourself, the way you talk to yourself is even bigger. I hope someone today can learn this, man. The way you talk to yourself is really, really huge. Like, I think a lot of times our depression and our anxiety, excuse me, our depression and our anxiety oftentimes can stem from our being needing deep rest. So, like, you're depressed, but it's because you need deep rest from the character that you're playing, from the words you're saying to yourself. You need deep rest from whatever is going on. You need a rest from that. And recently, I've been getting into transcendental meditation, which is something that a lot of people do. It's not even a religion. It's not anything crazy. It's just literally the best way I can describe meditation is like if you were to put your brain in a hot tub, right? Or if like you were to be at work and they're like, all right, 12 o'clock, you got to get in the hot tub, like, for 20 minutes. That's what meditation is. It's like if you were to ask me, like, oh, how do you meditate? How do you get in the process of transcendental meditation? This is exactly how I do it right here. I sit back. That's it. Ready to go. That's like whatever state that you will be, you're most naturally relaxed, you're most naturally just calm. That's how you meditate. It's not religious or anything. Literally, meditation can just, for me, literally be this. And you do that for 20 minutes because everything is energy. And your body needs rest. Like, if you don't sleep for, like, literally the leading cause to most sickness is sleep deprivation. To most mental illness, sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation is linked to some of the most health issues. Like 85% of severe chronic illness is linked to that, right? So because of that, it's like, why not rest more throughout the day? And that's where I've picked up transcendental meditation, because instead of, and it's not even like praying to a higher power, nothing. It's literally just resting. Like, you have to treat your brain like a rabid dog, right? That lives in your room. And every time you walk into your room, it bites you. And every single time you don't feed it filet mignon, it bites you. And oftentimes We have a freezer full of filet mignon. We just haven't thought it, right? And we're getting bitten by this dog, wondering why we're depressed, wondering why we're anxious. And it's because your brain is begging you to rest. It's like, can we please sit down and do nothing for just 10 minutes? And that's what you got to do. That's what you have to learn to start doing, is not only to do that, but like stop guilting yourself. We live in such a like fast-paced society. I promise you, 20 minutes of closing your eyes, hitting your vape, whatever, is not gonna kill you. 20 minutes of not doing is not gonna kill you. I promise you, it's not gonna kill you. So it's really important that not only get into the state ready to relax, but you give yourself the permission. Give yourself the fucking permission to sit down, do this, and stop being like, oh, like, you never do anything with, like, stop. Enough. It's so egregious to be hard on yourself for doing what makes you function. Like, rest is a function of your natural being. So when you guilt yourself for doing that, that's like guilting a tree for growing. That's like guilting a bird for finding worms. When you rest and you guilt yourself, that is like guilting the sun for shining. Like, allow yourself to get into places where you can sit, you can close your eyes, you can rest, and let your mind just go. That's the whole purpose of transcendental meditation. It isn't to be like, mantra, like, and you can do that. Like, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with mantras. And I honestly, if you're in that place where you like mantras is your thing, awesome. But for me, meditation really is, it's like a mental cigarette. It's just sit back, whatever. Like, you're not even doing anything. Like, for me, sometimes my meditation is literally sitting and doing nothing for 20 minutes. Because to me, that is the bathtub for the brain, where I can just totally unwind from the necessity to think about what I'm doing or where I'm going or where I came from. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I just want to sit down. And that's when you get to that place, like, and you stop like guilting yourself. Like, that's what being an adult really is. Like, you ever met those old guys that are like, I'm just gonna sit down, like, don't mind me, I'm just sitting down, like, and they really revel in the ability to sit down. That's a seasoned, wise old man. You got to learn that rest is a natural function of life. It's not something to guilt yourself for. It's not something that's going to stop you from progressing. If anything, think of it this way. The less you rest, the less you progress. Because how are you going to have the energy to produce anything if you don't rest? Like, you ever seen any good show, like whether it be music, or comedy, or anything that you see that you enjoy requires energy. And that energy comes from a place of rest. No energy is produced from a place of overworked, anxious, reaching, needing, and like, that's not how that works. And we think of it backwards. We think, I'm gonna stay up all night and work on this so that I can be rich by 5 a.m. Like, I'm gonna get a 6-pack by 7 a.m. Like, set realistic goals for yourself. Like, work with your brain the way that you would work with someone on a project. Ask yourself, what feels realistic? What feels like, and I get it. 2020, we're like 6 years off the heels of this age where everyone was trying to be like David Goggins. And you know what? David Goggins is awesome. And he knows how to train his brain. That is someone who took his brain and whipped it into shape, right? Full faculty of their brain. But you are not him. You don't have to be him. You have to be you. And you have to know what your brain, like, your brain will immediately tell you, because it is chemically and physiologically wired to do this. It'll tell you when it feels unsafe. It'll tell you when it feels like what you are doing to me right now does not feel like it is the right time. You have to trust in the timing of your consciousness and what your brain and heart are aware of, right? Because like, for instance, yesterday, I was gonna start doing something last night, and I felt my brain be like, can we just sit down? Can we just rest after work? Like, is that okay? And I'm like, you know what? Hell yeah. We're going to sit down. We're going to watch Seinfeld. Like, we're not going to worry about a damn thing. And I'm so glad that I did it. Because now, today, I woke up, I took my morning vitamins, I did my morning transcendental meditation, and I feel like I could do anything today. I feel great. And that's all because there's a balance of, I'm not always trying to produce something. Oh yeah, dude, Seinfeld's like top tier, top tier comfort show for me. That's my transcendental meditation show right there. You want to talk about a transcendental meditation? I'm gonna sit down on the couch. I'm gonna watch Seinfeld. I'm gonna have some snacks. I'm gonna think about nothing because it's a show about nothing. That whole show is a transcendental meditation. No, because in all seriousness, there's this pressure to create. There's this pressure to build. And you should. Because listen, Papa Moonkid's got some advice for you. I understand that capitalism sometimes causes boo-boos. I get it. But here's the reality. We live in a capitalist community and society. Therefore, yes, you do have to produce things. I'm sorry. Yes, that's how it works. Someone made it up, not me. But because of that, I'm not going to tell you don't produce things. Don't screw yourself. People be like, go with the flow. No, don't just go with the flow. Because if you go with the flow, or you're going to go with the flow of having to fill out applications for retail jobs in your 60s. What you want to do is, you want to have enough faculty to build something and do things that you enjoy, right? But have enough wisdom to rest from producing those things. Because if you're constantly in the state of producing those things, yes, you're going to get tired out, you're going to get burnt out, you're going to feel like, oh my God, the society we live in, we're not meant to live this way. And yes, you're right, we're not, but there's a way to survive in this. Like, I feel like the problem with a lot of people is they'll assess how things are and they'll go, oh my God, everything's wrong. We got to change the system. Yes-ish, maybe for certain things, but in a lot of ways, it's changing how you operate in the system. Because if you're constantly feeling like you have to produce to have value, yeah, that's going to tire you out. But if you're constantly aware that your value is before you produce a thing, you're going to start producing out of a place of fullness rather than out of a place of need. So when you are producing out of a place of need, you can't make anything good. It's like we posted the short the other day with Bowie. Like, Bowie is an absolute legend. And the reason we don't have David Bowies anymore is because a lot of you are so unfocused on who you are. Like, David Bowie was someone who, no matter who he was in a certain season, he was willing to manifest that in the world because he felt that was an expression that needed to be there. To give other people the permission to express themselves and free themselves from the restrictions of their false identities. And that's the thing, is like, yes, we live in a capitalist society where you're constantly, production is the means by which you make capital. But that is not the means by which you make peace. The means by which you make peace is inherently internal and cannot be externalized. It can be externalized in the form of, yes, money is an energy form that allows convenience, but you cannot enjoy the convenience if you are not internally satisfied. So that being said, I need you to know that it is so important for you to know who you are. It's so important for you to know who you are. You got to know who you are. You got to be grounded in the reality of your identity. You got to realize that yes, there will be things and people that abrase that, and that, you know, want to um, go against that, and that's okay. But you have to ask yourself, you know, what is the most what is the beautiful part of me that I am keeping from the world, right? Because when you produce capital, all you're doing is that. So give yourself the ability and the faculty to find something that you're good at that can produce capital, because you have to live. Like, a lot of people don't understand that as much as you want to criticize capitalism, it's going to exist until something else does. So as it exists in its form, yes, you got to work, got to make a living. I'm sorry. I wish we didn't have to either, but that's the reality. That's the reality of what it is. Um, and so, and no, we don't have to block anybody. We're not like that. The only time I really block people is if they really are getting like inappropriate or like, you know, sexual or things like that. We got some younger people in here. We don't want to really be putting that kind of stuff out there. But yeah, you're welcome to you're welcome to share your opinion, even if it's like it's not going to affect me. You know, if you're sharing what you think, this is an open space for that. It's a free country. You know, people fought for us to be able to do this. There is men and women who will never see the light of day, that fought for us to sit here right now and have this conversation. Okay, so I'm not gonna take my ego and say that you got to be blocked, or you have to be out of my space because you think differently than me. Like, no, in all honesty, cool. I hope you have a great day, brother. Like, I don't know you, I don't know your situation, but you're a human being. You know, they give people in prison 3 meals a day and a place to sleep. You don't deserve any less than that. But I truly do hope you have a good day. I don't really know what your perspectives are or but it doesn't matter. You have a story that up until this point you've gotten here to believe that, and that's your right. You reserve that. But I don't know what that means. You counted 5 atoms? Oh, admins. Okay, it was a. But yeah, no, you're welcome to exist in a space where you have where you have thoughts. You know, we really, my mods will only block someone if they feel like they're getting like, if they're just being nasty for no reason. You know, that's really how we look at it. But the reality is, like I was saying, we live in a world that it functions by capital. Like, and I understand inherently that it can be seen as an evil thing, and it's allowed for certain evils to happen, but that's how any system is. There's no perfect system. Like, there's no system that you can implement where there won't be some form of corruption or some form of people taking advantage of that system. Your job isn't to like overthrow the system. you like you got to realize that, and I think that's where a lot of people's stress comes from. They're like, this is Star Wars, we got to overthrow everything. Like, no, like you have the faculty and capacity to affect your mind, how you think, your identity, and how you operate in your immediate circles in the world. You can't really I don't want to say this. I don't want to say you can't change the world. We change the world by changing who we are. So we have to start there. Like, I think it's inherently unwise to look out at the world first and look at what's wrong with it without looking in the mirror first, because the world inherently is a reflection of us. And yeah, all of us aren't, you know, people in power being corrupted, but oftentimes with our own power and responsibility, we corrupt ourselves. You know, we waste our time. We don't spend the time to focus on and hone in our crafts. You know, it's like it's genuinely important for you to find the importance on what you think about, right? You have to find an importance on. Because let's say, I'll be very specific here. When I was in my early 20s, I did a lot of rabbit holing, looking at all these conspiracies. Oh my gosh, the world's so scary. Like that was a lot of my 20s, smoking weed, being like, oh my God, the world is messed up. And the thing is, and here, I'll just stop here. Cool, you're more than welcome to make a point, but you have to be logical, right? Like, you have to ask yourself what your values are at a certain point, right? Because at a certain point, you kind of show your hand to kind of be it's a little sad, you know what I mean? It's like I've showed up here to make my point, and it's like, okay, man, like, that's good. That's like, you have to ask yourself, like, what are my values here? And I think that the important thing here when we're talking about identity, for me in my early 20s, I was looking at all these conspiracies, looking at all this stuff. And even now, we have like the files, the list out. It is very easy to immediately assess the world, to look at it and say, well, it's just all broken. It's inherently broken. And like, we cannot do anything. We are paralyzed, all this. And you immediately lose the faculty to believe in any good in the world. And I think that this is something that happens. It's like we tend to have this attitude that the way that things are, will never be good unless the entire thing is thrown out and restarted. I think that that's wrong. I think that the only way we can move forward and upward is to learn how to exist in that. Learn how to shed light in the middle of that. Because if you can't shed light in the middle of that and you're waiting for the whole thing to overturn, it's almost like this. When Jesus was alive, you had the Roman occupation, right? And a lot of the people who were living in first century Israel at that time, they were hoping for the Romans to get overthrown. That's what they were hoping for. They were hoping that there would be this external overthrow of what they believed to be their oppression. But what Jesus understood at that time was that oppression inherently is not external. Oppression has and always will be internal. Like, if you are free enough, there are no bars that could hold you. If you are free enough in here, there are no bars that can hold you. I appreciate that, cool, but I actually believe in God, man. I appreciate that. You can have an opinion or you can have a statement, but it'll never inherently affect the truth. The truth being, I'm a child of God, man. And I'm just out here creating, doing my thing. But we know who we are. It's one side and the other. It's people make themselves clear. That's all it really is. But for him, he showed up in a time where religion and political or I guess you could say, like, just kind of like occupation through war, or just like power. So those two things were really at external full volume. You know what I mean? And the thing is that they had every excuse to say that the system at the time, right, is like, oh, we have Roman occupation. We got the synagogues and all this stuff. Like, how could we possibly be free? But he showed up, worked for 3 years, talked about freeing yourself from the external bind. He's like, kingdom of heaven is here. It's within you, all this stuff. And that blew people's minds. They were like, oh my gosh, like, you can't say this. We'll kill you for saying that. And they did. And he was like, psych. But that's the thing, man. There's a certain level to which, if we can understand how this operates, we can cut through all of the oppression, all of the occupation, all of the external reality of what's oppressing us, and we can learn to operate in a way that's honest. And yet, think about it. This dude, Jesus, was a carpenter. So he actually still worked. This dude was God, and he still had a 9 to 5. Like think about that, and not even an easy 9 to 5. Like one where it's like you're sweating, and you're like, you got like all this stuff. It's like, holy crap. There's something to that, right? There's this idea that you have to free yourself from thinking that the problem is out there. Because yes, there's corruption. Yes, surprise, there's evil people. Yes, surprise, there are systems that have been implemented that inherently benefit the people at the top. Surprise! That's how it's been for all of time and will always be. Like, I don't know if you've seen, there's been a couple of cartoons and movies where they show like, oh, someone, these guys are bad, let's overthrow them. And then they overthrow them, and then the guys that overthrow them just end up being as bad. See, we're constantly thinking that the answer's out there. It's not. The answer is here. The answer isn't here. It's like you have to be able to understand that it is not like, if Jesus was able to exist in a time where Roman occupation existed and all this stuff existed, like, we can exist now. We are inherently in a far easier time. like by a mile. And hey, cool, I just want to say, I think it's very clear that you're someone who has some kind of like mental thing going on, and I want to just respect that, because I've dealt with mental issues, and I don't think that a YouTube chat is necessarily the best place for someone that struggles like yourself to try and find some kind of like closure or relief. I would really encourage therapy to you, my man. I would really encourage just talking to someone that you really care about, because like trying to rage bait people and all this stuff, like, my community's we don't really follow. We're a little bit too mature for that. But we send love to you, man. We wish you the best, and we hope that you can find the help you need, man, because we realize that everybody needs help, man. But God bless you, man. I hope you have a great day, bro. But the whole thing with identity, man, like, it really plays so much bigger of a role than you realize. Like, that's even the whole point of therapy, right? People go into therapy so you can figure out what's going on with me. Why do I think the way I do? What am I thinking about? What should I be thinking about? It's an internal study. You got to be able to give yourself the faculty and the permission to get into the habit of knowing yourself. Know yourself. If you don't know yourself, you're gonna be constantly looking for affirmation from the world. And that's a really sad place to be when you finally produce something or make something for yourself or do something that you're happy about, and you go to the world like, what do you think? Never do that. Never do that. The way here's how I always look at art. Like, if you're an artistic person, or you'll understand what I'm saying here. Like with music, for instance, anytime I drop a song, this is what I say: it's theirs now. It's not mine. It's theirs. When I make a video, in the process of making it, while I'm creating it, yeah, it's mine because I'm molding it and shaping it. But then once it's all done and I put it out, it is now gone. It does not belong to me. And that is how art works. But that is also how we have to like take our feelings and do the same thing. Because sometimes you're going to feel a way about something, but it's not indicative of the truth. And you got to be able to have enough discernment as a human being to go, yeah, I'm gonna let myself feel this, but I'm not gonna let these feelings decide anything. Knowing to not let your feelings make decisions is a hard practice. It's easier said than done. But what it really is it's self-control to say, like, my feelings don't. It's a duality. Your feelings are valid, but they shouldn't drive you. So sometimes how you feel about yourself is not indicative of who you actually are. Like, sometimes you'll fail at something and you'll tell yourself, I feel like a failure. Are you an actual failure? No. You are just someone who happened to fail at that time. It's just an action that happened. But this is why assessing your feelings, it's the whole industry of therapy. The whole industry of therapy is assessing how you feel and why you feel before you allow it to take faculty over you. You say, I'm really mad. Why are you mad? I'm mad because of this. Well, possibly it's because of this. The permission to search your heart, right? Like, this is how you get to know yourself. Like, not even to get religious, but to just reveal a habit or practice that I have that helps me. And even science will tell you that biologically, prayer and meditation actually does something to your brain, right? So oftentimes my prayers aren't, like 99% of the times, they're not, dear Father, hold. It's actually, it sounds like this. Like, it'll be like I'm talking out loud to God. That's how I communicate spiritually. It's very casual. Because to me, that's the way that I talk. I don't talk like thee, thou, thou, thy, thou. Like, I don't do that. I talk the way that I'm talking now. So a lot of times the practice of prayer or meditation is both the permission and practice to feel and to think freely without judgment. And that's what I do. And sometimes that is what gets me upward and onward and forward, is the prayer, the meditation. Transcendental meditation has really been helping. And transcendental meditation isn't religious. You don't even have to be a person of faith to do transcendental meditation. You can be atheist and do transcendental meditation. All the transcendental meditation is transcending the current thought or pattern of thinking in order to relax. It's literally just relaxing. That's all that it is. It's like active relaxing. That's all that TM is. And it's good, man. I did it before we started here. I did a TM because I started. I'll be honest. I used to do meditations differently, but then I heard about someone doing transcendental meditations this way, and I was like, let me try it. So I tried it last night when I got home from work, and it was awesome. I tried it last night when I got to the house and sat down. It was awesome. I did it before I went to bed. I did it this morning when I woke up. And I feel fucking great, dude. Like, I feel fantastic. And I didn't say a word the whole time. Not a single word was spoken through this whole meditation. There you go. Whatever makes you relax. This guy likes listening to Deja solo. And you know what? That was part of my goal. To help people relax. To help people say, hey, let me chill out. I gotta chill. I gotta take the chill pill. No, but it's true though. I mean, like, we're so uptight. Like, everybody, like, I've done a lot of work in the last couple of years to keep myself not tightly wound all the time. I've been someone that in my history has been prone to high levels of stress and anxiety and depression mixed in with that. You mix that in, that's like throwing gasoline on a fire, depression with anxiety. And because I've felt those feelings at such extreme rates, I oftentimes look at myself as the person that, I've been to hell and back. But every once in a while, I'll walk back through the gates of hell and stand at the furthest, lowest corner just so that anybody walking there, I can turn them right back to the other direction. That's how I view my art. That's how I viewed every iteration of my art, even this. I like to stand at the doorway of the end and say, wrong way, motherfucker. And that's what I hope to always be as long as I'm here. That's it. Because to me, that's what my relationship with God has been. That's what God did for me. When I formed my personal relationship with Jesus, it was like I was walking to the end. I was ready to go, and He was like, "Psych, motherfucker, turn around." And I'm like, "Oh, you got me." I'm like, "Damn, I never thought I'd really be like this." But the beauty of moving forward after that is I got the grace from that relationship with God to say, you can do anything. You can accomplish anything. And I got you. And that grace and that love that I felt is something that I don't need other people to believe in Jesus. I would like for people to feel the peace that I feel in my relationship with Him. But I'm never going to judge anybody for believing differently than I do. Because it's not my job to make you believe anything. It's my pleasure to make you feel the peace that I feel and have felt ever since I've changed, is the truth. I don't really want to make anybody do anything because I know what it feels like to be forced to do something you don't want to do. And that's like the least fun shit. Like, you ever been at a party and everybody's kind of chilling? And then that one person is like, let's play a game. And everyone's kind of like, and then like, but you feel obligated to be nice. So I was like, all right, I don't want to do that shit to nobody. That's the worst. You don't want to be that person at the party. When you're that person at the party, nobody wants to invite you back to the party. But in all reality, in all seriousness, is what I actually just. I love you guys, and when I say that, I don't mean I know you. I mean that I long for you to be gifted the ability to love yourself and to live in that peaceful place. To live in the place where you give yourself the permission to say, you know what, it's okay. Like, I embarrassed myself the other day, it's okay. I'm not maybe as good looking as I want to be, it's okay. Find joy in being ugly. If you feel like you're ugly, find joy in it. If someone calls you ugly, be like, yeah, you know what, so I still got cute features. Take pride in the ugliness of who you are. And I don't just mean physical, because like for me, I take pride in my ugliness, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta learn how to forgive yourself, because sin, right? Like, if we're talking from like sin, like, you're sinful. There is no Hebrew word, one word for sin. There is no Greek one word for sin. There is no Aramaic one word for sin. The only word that would even closely resemble would be three different meanings, and that would be either the missing of the mark, the pesha, the shavon, the misunderstanding of the identity, or the sheta, the malevolence. And I think that when we understand it that way, that a lot of times what we do, or the actions that people call sins, are really just things that we do that keep us from our identity. Not a bad thing that you shouldn't do, but something that keeps you from realizing who you are. See, even this whole idea of like, Jesus died for your sins, what does that mean? How can someone die? Like, if we're thinking sin is like, oh, when you masturbate, when you're jerking your dick. All right, so you're telling me that he died because I like to look at pornography. That is not noble. No, he died because, check this out. If your sins are not just, they're not the actions. Sins, think of it this way. A sin is something that keeps you from your identity. It's like the sin, like, you know how the word sin in Latin is like without? Like without. So think of sin not as like the thing you're doing. Think of it as the result it produces. And the result it often produces is a separation from yourself and a separation from like the peace of God. That's what it is. I look like Mr. Rogers on acid. That's awesome, Aaron. That's awesome. I actually kind of want to see that. I'm sorry. Amazing. But so when we look at the idea of sin just being the result of being separated from yourself, then when someone dies for that, that's different, right? That's me saying, I'm gonna go and die so that you can understand your identity, so that you can be who you are. That changes the whole game, and it changes the whole message, and it changes the whole outlook. Because I'm no longer living to try to be perfect enough to please God. No, I'm living to embrace the identity that was paid for. Meaning, instead of being caught up in guilt, oh, woe is me, I'm so bad, forgive me. I'm caught up in grace. I am so thankful. Thank you for my life. Thank you for this day. Let me make the most out of every moment. That is the point. You have to forgive yourself for not being good enough. We will never be good enough. When anytime you hear the word perfection in the Bible, I promise you, as someone who has studied the Hebrew, the Greek, and the Aramaic, perfection does not mean blamelessness. Perfection means wholeness. There's a difference between being blameless and being wholeness and being in wholeness. Being blameless means that by the law and by the letter you have done nothing wrong. There is no human alive that can do that. Being whole means to be without need, without requirement, without necessity. That is possible. And that is what the point of any spiritualism or religion is to release you from the need to be perfect and put you into the reality of being whole. You understand? The reality of being whole. Okay? Everybody knows John 3:16. Nobody ever remembers John 3:17, where it says that this dude did not come to condemn at all, which means to be like, you're wrong, which is what a lot of Christians do, unfortunately. But he spent his last sermon alive warning people about that. And if you want to, if you're not sure, you can go, don't believe me, go find out yourself. Go ask ChatGPT, what was the subject of Jesus's last sermon when he was alive? And the reality is that regardless of religion, perspective, or anything, you are longing to be whole. You're longing to be made whole. It's why drug addiction exists. It's why any addiction exists. We're all longing to be whole. So ask yourself today, What will it take for me to be whole? What will it take for me to feel complete? What will it take? Because oftentimes it's not an external thing, and it really will never be. What it will take for you to be whole cannot be anything you touch. Because you are not just your body. You're not just a physical human being. And you want to know how I know that for an absolute determinable, provable fact? Do you want to know how I know that you are not just a human being, flesh and bone? Check this out. What was your first memory? If your first memory was not when you physically materialized, meaning when you were inside of your mother's womb, if that's not your first memory, logically and inherently, that concludes that you are not your body. That means that your body is actually a vessel, because your first memory comes, and everybody think of it, your first memory is random. It's literally like, boop, all of a sudden, I'm here, right? Where'd you come from? The same place where you go when you're done with this. Buddha knew that. That's what he talks about. That's why Buddhists respect Jesus, because Jesus was on that grind of like, this thing is not the thing. Like, you are much bigger than this, than the body. Your first memory is not when you materialize. If you were your body, your first memory of consciousness would have materialized the second your body was formed, but it didn't. Oftentimes, your first memory is about 3 or 4 years into this thing operating. So what's that? What was, you know what I'm saying? This concludes that the body is a separate operational entity that houses the consciousness. Your first memory is logical proof of this. You can't argue that. That's just logical proof of the fact that your body is a separate entity. This is what Jesus talks about when he's like, the flesh is of the flesh, that which is of the flesh is of the flesh, that which is of the spirit is of the spirit. Your body operates completely separate from who you are. That's why sometimes you can feel depressed or you can feel out of control, because your body is literally sometimes moving differently than your mind, and you got to be able to connect the two. You got to be able to connect the space between the body and the mind. Justin Jr., 100 XP for joining the stream. Drop a like if you know what I mean. Appreciate you coming in that energy, man. We're talking this morning about the reality of identity, of how we view ourselves. We're not forcing anybody to believe anything in here. I have a very like spiritual perspective of stuff. That's just how I've existed. But there's no like requirement for you to have any type of perspective. Everyone here is welcome to share their thoughts. This is an open space. But yes. I actually, after high school, I studied religion. So I've been to Buddhist monasteries. I've been to Islamic temples, Jewish synagogues, Hindu temples. Sat with different gurus, and my best friend's a Buddhist. I've read the Buddhist Bible. I've read the Quran, the Torah, the Talmud, hidden books of the Bible. I've read ancient stuff. Alan Watts is great. Things like that. I've seen all kinds of perspectives, but for me, the teachings of Jesus and the life of Jesus really, for me, I saw a red line connecting through all things when I was studying. I was like, oh wow, this guy's actually pretty profound. He shows up in every major religion. They study him actually in the Buddhist monastery. They study the teachings of Ishi. That was one thing I learned when I was studying Buddhism, is that Jesus is actually more commonly regarded as a Buddha because Buddhism isn't really a religion. It's like philosophers that all got together and were like, let's wear robes. But the reality is for me, I found the teachings of Jesus to be the most applicable to my active everyday life, like this idea of disregarding title and status, and really like captaining for the heart, and like the soul behind the human, and really just regarding one another as the soul, and really speaking to the soul, and kind of not disregarding the body, but allowing the body to only have faculty within the purposes of the soul, as a means of fulfillment and wholeness. And for me, I've found that wholeness in that. I'm someone without lack. I've been in great abundance, and I've been in great need, but through all of that, just like Paul says, I can do through all things through Christ who strengthens me. And it's not just the religion, it's actually the idea of the spirit behind. Like, they say you can kill a man, but you can't kill the idea. So the spirit of that philosophy, the spirit of those teachings, the spirit of that man, the spirit of who I believe in remains to be my rooted consciousness. I mean, it's what roots me in this world, and I believe everyone should have something that roots themselves. For me, I don't think it's inherently disrespectful to have a different opinion. I just think it's inherently unintelligent to not be open to other people's opinions, in terms of listening and understanding. Like my best friend is a Buddhist, and for me, he knows that I believe in Christ. He knows that that's my commitment. We both oftentimes will talk about what we agree about philosophically before we disagree. Like, he doesn't believe that there's a necessity to believe that Jesus is the only God, because to him, Jesus is a form of many iterations of it. Like, to Buddhists, they don't think there's a necessity to have allegiance to one guy. They think that there's a necessity to release the manifestation of what they believe to be God in yourself, which is insane, almost exactly what Jesus was trying to say. And that's why me and my Buddhist friend actually get along very well, because a lot of our values are actually the same. And that's what it has to get down to. It's like, what are your values, right? Like, what is important to you? For me, peace is important to me. Love is important to me. Humility is important to me. Boundaries are important to me. Family is important to me. Presence, practicing presence is important to me, and most people who are even atheists wouldn't disagree with that. And I think that that's something that's, we have to, honestly, Buddhism is what led me to where I am today. It's just the confidence to even say I believe in Jesus, and I follow his teachings, because it's like, a lot of times we profess our beliefs based on how we feel other people will perceive them. Some people will say, "Oh, well, you're a YouTuber, you really shouldn't talk about Jesus or whatever." It's like, but that, that's how I got to where I am today. I remember praying to Jesus, being like, "Hey, I want to do this YouTube thing," and it materialized. That's, to me, evidence of a belief in action. And here we are, but it's also I think it's important for people to be able to also, within their beliefs, not say that it's what they always have to believe. Like, you can believe one thing, and then the next day I'd be like, you know what? I actually find I'm gonna take from this philosophy. I kind of like that. I like this stoicism kind of thing. I'll take a little bit from here, and that's okay too. Like, you can find things that to you seem like it's sound, but always be willing to kind of test yourself and test your wisdom and say, like, well, does this really hold up? Is this value really held up here? I don't think that's a bad thing. I think one thing that I learned from Buddhism that I love is becoming nothing. Becoming nothing is phenomenal, and this can be mirrored in the verse where Jesus says, the Son of Man came not to serve, but to be, not to be served, but to serve. And there's this idea of, regardless of your title or whatever position you give yourself, you have to have the ability to become nothing. Literally, like no entitlement, no need, no desire, just like a tree isn't begging to grow, a flower isn't begging to blossom, a seed isn't begging for water, it just is, right? So if we can kind of learn to become nothing, we can find peace. And that's really even the whole purpose of meditation, right? Is to kind of You know, a lot of people like, think about nothing, and they're like, I don't know how to think about nothing. Like, nothingness is kind of an idea of stillness, really. It's not like the absence of something, but rather the active, or excuse me, the passive reality of the thing. The automatic state, the non-required faculty, like the ability to just be, right? And that was something I learned from Buddhism that I've taken with me, that in moments where I feel irate or I feel upset or whatever it is, you know, I ask myself, you know, to what value is it that I would hold on to these feelings? Like, am I entitled to a sense of justice more so than the next man? You know, to what degree have I become the arbiter of justice and I let go? I become nothing. You know, oh, well, you really should, no, I should, nothing. I'm just gonna sit down. And that's the beauty of nothingness, and there's a peace in that. A lot of us today could learn from that, especially with, you know, people who are politically inclined to be very offended. It's like on both sides. It's like you could learn something from Buddhism and from Jesus there, where it's like, just kind of become nothing. Like, what you think actually doesn't matter as much as you think it does. Mostly because what we think about is like things we can touch, things we can see. So if that's what you care about, just know that in not even 75 years, all of those things will disappear. So because of that, technically none of it will actually matter, because soon it will not be in existence. And that was something I learned from the nihilists. Like, nihilism gets a lot of flack because people think that the nihilists think that nothing matters, that's the whole thing. But it's like, no. Nihilism is the conclusion of purpose being like, purpose is a pursuit that you can find pleasure in, but it doesn't culminate life. Like finding a meaning to everything, or things having a meaning isn't the person. Sometimes the meaning is being. Like, that is the meaning. And that's basically what nihilism is like, okay, ask a tree how it feels to be seen today. It's not going to tell you anything. A tree is a nihilist because it is beautiful, it has growth, it is being, it is operating, but it has no inherent opinion because it doesn't need to. It gives you oxygen to breathe and think through your brain, so you can even think about what you want your philosophy to be. Like, and that's the inherent air of nihilism. And although I understand it for what it is to be, I will say that unfortunately nihilism has produced a lot of non-thinking people where they're just saying nothing matters. And it's like, okay, well, you haven't actually. There are some nihilists that are like Christians, where it's like they haven't done their research, so they just kind of are like the face value of what the philosophy represents. I feel like some nihilists and Christians actually low-key have the same annoying energy. Nothing matters. Okay, bro. Well, you still gotta pay your bills, so. You're gonna make the joke, a little nihilism, a little stoicism, a little Buddhism. There's actually a verse about that, Cashier. It's funny you say that. People will believe in a tree before God. But you can't blame them at the same time, too. Like, as someone who believes in God, the evidence of God is in a tree. The evidence of God is within the tree. Yes, Soda, I do think I'm cool because I have a few toys. As a matter of fact, I will now put them more in your view. But, nah, man, 100 XP for joining the stream. Stoicism is good because there's this nature of, like, you got to stop worrying. Like, you're putting a lot of faculty into worrying, and it doesn't matter. Stoicism is really good But I like mixing stoicism with a little bit of Buddhism, with a little bit of you know what actually is a great philosophy is Zen Buddhism. Zen Buddhism, like Alan Watts, great guy. Great guy. If you haven't listened to Alan Watts' lectures, I would. Huge, huge influence on my way of thinking and the way that I look at the world. Alan Watts is that dude, man. I'm trying to be the current day Alan Watts. That's, you know, people listen to me far after I'm dead. No, but I love you guys, and today is a good day. Today was the first day that I scheduled out my day off. I decided I'm gonna start scheduling out my days off because what I realized is a lot of times I'll kind of like, I'm very jazzy. I'm a very jazzy guy. You know, I like, you know, doing things off the cuff, but with the success that I'm coming into, you know, channels growing, all this stuff, you know, this is pretty soon becoming my full-time gig. It's taking a lot of full-time energy out of me, so I gotta produce that and starting to do things on time. So we're this type of thing, this 2-hour IRL live stream, something that's gonna start happening every Tuesday at 9:30 EST. We're gonna start having more things, a little bit more scheduled, just because if this is gonna be my job, I have to kind of job it. You know, I gotta like boss it up a little bit. You know, so I've been bossing up, man. I've been really liking the place that I'm in creatively. I like the place that the channel's in right now. I love it, man. It's like I love it. But I'm excited for today, man. Today's gonna be a good day. We're gonna get some writing done. We're gonna get some errands done. I'm actually gonna force myself to go out. Yes, that's right. You heard it. I am going to touch grass, and it's gonna be a good day. But I hope you're having a good day. And if you're not having a good day, I want you to think about why. And I want you to ask yourself, what is it that would be required of you to have a good day? And if you find out what that is, why haven't you given yourself the permission to do that? The Last Great Philosopher. That's actually a crazy title, but I'll take it. I think that, you know, it's important to just know who you are. And it's important to know who you're not, too. I think for me, I've gone through a pretty vigorous process of trying out different me's and trying out different versions of myself that felt applicable or amicable to the world at hand. But what I've learned, I know, Karen, but what I've learned is the more you can authentically be yourself and give yourself the space to find out who that is and what that is, and give yourself the permission to evolve that, the more peace you'll find in what you do, because it won't be so reactionary. It won't be so dependent on, you know, how are these people gonna see me? How are these people gonna like me? No, how are they gonna react, or how are they gonna feel, you know? We often, we do that so much, and how am I gonna feel? How are they gonna feel? I'll tell you what, I don't know. But I know that if you are authentic to who you are and you give yourself that space, you will feel amazing. You will feel on top of the world if you give yourself space to rest, if you give yourself space to know when you need to rest, if you give yourself space and permission to find out what you like and what you like to do, if you give yourself permission and space and freedom to be bad at something and try to start getting good at it, like, the possibilities are endless when you start actually loving yourself and you start giving yourself that direction, giving yourself that permission, giving yourself that grace. Most importantly, give yourself grace. It's one of the Deja Solo songs we were playing on stream the other day. You ain't gotta be perfect. You just gotta be graceful to yourself before anyone else. And you know what? You know what, Pickle Nick? You could take that and make that a strength. I'm serious, man. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even making a joke. You could actually take your ability to be bad at shit and make that a strength to make you successful. Because if you are unafraid of being bad at shit and you're not scared of being bad at shit, it means that you can try anything and fail at anything until you find the thing you know you're good at. Because then, if you're willing to be bad at other things, that means you're willing to find out who you're not. You're willing to find out, you're brave enough to find out what you can't do well. And that's sometimes better than finding out what you can do well. Because then you don't have to waste time thinking, oh, what if I never did that? Or what if I ever did that? You know, no, I'm bad at that. Like me, I know I suck at bowling. I'll never have to wonder. I know that I'm absolutely going to have the lowest score out of the whole group. Even if it's in the Special Olympics, I not even getting bronze. Not even getting bronze. King of Curses, 100 XP for joining the morning stream. Good to see you, bro. You just gotta be worth it. Ow, ow, ow. No, it's and man, you know, that's why a lot of young guys, young people, like myself included, when I was a young blossoming teenager, a young crouton in a big carved world, chock full of bread, I was I was so thirsty for relationships with girls at such a young age because I wanted that affirmation of being loved and that I was lovable. I didn't have a super close relationship with my family, so I was really susceptible to this idea of getting love from other people that affirmed that I was good enough. And if you can get in a place before you get in a relationship, please, where you realize that you're good enough and you love yourself and you know your habits and you know your tics, you know what makes you mad, you know what makes you smile, you will be so much happier in that relationship. Both people, both you and the person you're in a relationship will be so much happier because you're not begging for affirmation from them. It comes inwardly, the love comes from within, and then it outwardly extends to the other person more naturally. This is what allows for relationships to last. Any good relationship. That's crazy. That's crazy, Dylan. Any good relationship is going to function on the basis that it is two individuals who love themselves out of a place of wholeness, pouring that love back into one another. Bro said I can't even do one. Low-key, I probably couldn't do 10 right now. 10 push-ups? I mean, I'll do $10 dono for 10 push-ups. If we get a handshake on that, I got you. If not, then time is money, man. Nah, man, but I'm telling you. I'm telling you though. If you can learn how to love yourself before you get in a relationship, not really learn to seek it from other people, you will be so much more fulfilled as a human being. When you don't have to... He said, Goggins, baby. Who's carrying the boats? All right, fine. I'll do it. You know what? It's good for my health anyways. Let's do it. We're doing 10 right now. All right, let's go. All right. All right. Here we go. We got it. I feel better. I actually feel good because I haven't done push-ups in a while. Woo! Moon gym. That was good. You know what? Thank you for that. I'm glad we did that. It was a little break from the norm, huh? And little secret, we're coming up to what is it? To PAX East soon, and I have ordered my full Moon Knight cosplay. Jim Bro arc. Well, I don't know if y'all noticed, man. Hold on. I don't know if y'all noticed. So listen, back in September, I was 315 pounds. And now I'm like down to like 260. I told y'all if I was really gonna be doing this Moon Knight thing, like I was gonna really lose weight. So like I'm down to like 260 now. I was 315. So I really wanted to be able to get into the suit with the sense of realism for you guys, because when I'm there at PAX, we're gonna live stream and all that stuff. But I don't know if y'all noticed, man, like I've really been slimming out, yo. Like I'm really like I've really lost some weight. So that's like what, 315, 260, that's like it's like 45 pounds, right? No, I think that's 55 pounds. I can't yeah, I was 315. I was a little heavy. I was a little chunker. But yeah, I just committed, yo. I just said like, yo, like I have all these like images of superheroes around me. Like, why don't I just like look like one? Like I'm over 6 feet. Like I would literally just look like a superhero if I locked in. So just did a little, and like my job's very physical, so I am very lucky because like I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not a gym guy. I wish I was, but I'm not a gym guy. I can't because it's not just the gym. Like if I could just transport myself and be in the gym, I'd be fine. But it's this idea of being like having to get ready for it, and then I go, and then I do it, and then I come back and have to shower, and like to me that's just like ugh. So like for me, I get a lot of my exercise from work because like I'm lifting heavy stuff, like walking around all day. So that's where I really get a lot of like I'm doing an average of probably like 10,000, between 10,000 and 17,000 steps a day at my job. So I'm getting a lot of, you know, natural cardio, natural muscle kind of thing. I live on the 3rd floor. I always try to take the stairs. So it's really been, that's how I've been able to do it. And to anybody else who wants to like kind of get in that arc, I'll give you this advice. Try not to like overdo it. Like don't give yourself unrealistic. Like I know that 2 a.m. motivation be having you be like, I'm gonna go out running every day like David Goggins. Like if you can do that, do it. And I encourage you, if you really have the willpower, send it. But you kind of have to treat your brain a little bit like a pet and ask yourself like what feels realistic. And for me, what feels realistic is I go to work, I get my workout then. I don't really have extra time. I do have extra time to work out, but I don't want to spend that time working out. I'd rather spend that time writing, live streaming, playing video games, whatever. So I've been able to lose 55 pounds in just a couple of months because I basically just was honest with myself about what I felt like I could do. It was more like, instead of being like, I'm not eating. No, it was more like, how can I realistically maintain what I eat while we're realistically maintaining what I do, and maybe just making slight adjustments here and there. It's small adjustments, right? Because something is better. You tell yourself for 5 minutes, I need to just lift some weights. 5 minutes once a week is better than nothing. You'll find progress in just the small things that you do. But gamers, my alarm just went off for my afternoon TM, meaning it is time for me to relax, unwind from producing content, and produce myself a little bit of relaxation. If you don't know what TM is, we're talking about transcendental meditation, the permission to sit back like this and do nothing. But here's the deal, I have myself on a schedule today, so I'm gonna let you guys know what's going on. So right now, we're going to take the next hour or so, and I'm gonna just kind of chill or whatever. But then later in the day, we're gonna be doing some live streams and hanging out with you guys. So feel free, if you haven't already, make sure you check out all the videos on the channel, all the latest stuff. We got memberships live on the channel as well, guys. First membership tier is starting at 99 cents a month. And you guys know that that is very doable for a lot of you. And just for 99 cents a month, you'll be able to get a lot of these extra perks. Do I speak Spanish? Un poquito. Un poquito. Mi español es no bueno. But listen, guys. Focus today. Ask yourself if you need rest. If the answer is yes, give it to yourself. And then proceed to ask yourself, what kind of life are you trying to have? And then become the person that is worthy of receiving that. I love you guys. Have an amazing, fantastic, spectacular rest of your day. Be kind to yourselves. Be excellent to one another. And I will see you guys in the next one. Excelsior, gamers.